Hello everyone, I'm your king, Willis Mikky. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, and today I have some Reddit stories for you. So let's get started with this first story that is from r/relationship advice, and it is titled, "My 38 female husband, 40 male, pushed me when I asked him about a weird text he received and refused to show me his phone. I am unsure what to do now. I will keep it short with few details as possible to avoid being identified. My husband and I have been married for over 10 years. The last several years have been very difficult for us. We have been trying to conceive and failing, and this puts a lot of stress on our marriage. I have been very vocal in public about our fertility struggles offline and online. After many rounds of IVF, I finally became pregnant and I am currently in my second trimester. From the beginning, the pregnancy has been really tough on me. I had severe morning sickness, high blood pressure, and my pregnancy was considered high risk. Our marriage has been under a lot of stress, and this is exacerbated by the fact we haven't had sex since I got pregnant, largely because I feel like complete crap most days. Earlier today, my husband's phone kept pinging with notifications. I instinctively picked it up to see who it was messaging him. The messages were from a female friend of his. She is a relatively new friend. From what I briefly saw before he walked into the house, he had been taking out the garbage and snatched the phone from my hands. It seemed he had been complaining about me and our sex life to this friend. I confronted him and asked him to open the message so I could read what he had been saying about me. He got really mad and he pushed me really hard when I tried to take the phone back from him, and I fell on the floor. He immediately apologized and helped me back up, and I can tell he felt bad. When I again tried to ask him about the message, he still wouldn't show me the phone, kept deflecting, saying it was nothing. He was just complaining to a friend that the pregnancy has been difficult, and that was all. I'm not convinced. The text I saw briefly was more than what he is letting on. He refused to show me his phone for proof on the grounds of, we have to have trust. I know he doesn't come across this way in the post, but he really is a good, loving, and supportive husband. He has never laid a hand on me, but I can't deny the uneasy feeling I have following his actions. Edit. Reading all your comments is making me rethink the severity of his actions. Don't get me wrong, I knew it was very wrong. It was one of the reasons I turned to Reddit for advice. What do I do now? He is very protective and possessive of me in the pregnancy. What if he doesn't like it when I leave? Would me and my baby be in danger? Edit 2. Thank you all for the comments. You have opened my eyes to a lot of his behavior, which I didn't consider to be an issue before. I wanted to go in for a checkup yesterday after the fall, but he said it wasn't necessary because the fall wasn't too hard and not to worry. But I will go to the hospital for a checkup when he's out of the house today. Before I give my commentary, let's go to the community to see what they think about OP's situation. The first reply says, "Ma'am, he was so worried about you seeing what he was saying that he pushed his high-risk pregnancy wife onto the floor. Don't minimize this with, he's such an amazing, loving husband. He was willing to risk killing your baby to prevent you from seeing those messages." The next reply says, "He never laid a hand on you until he did. There's always a first time for something. Now you get to decide if it's the last. Now you know he's willing to cross that line. You don't say how far you are into the second trimester, but a violent fall is more and more serious the further you go. You should contact your OB and get both you and the baby checked out and tell them what your husband did." And the final reply says, "He was more protective of that message than he was for his pregnant wife. That's all you need to know." And now it's time for my commentary, and at this point, the message doesn't matter. What matters is that he laid his hands on you, and if he's willing to do it once, he's willing to do it again. OP, do not let him get another shot of doing it. So OP, what I recommend is you go to that checkup, make sure you and the baby are okay, and leave this guy. This is not healthy. So let's check out that update to see how this story ends. I planned on going to the hospital for a checkup when he was out. He caught wind of my hospital visit plans and insisted he comes with me because he doesn't want me going alone, saying he was worried about me and the baby. He was with me the entire time, so I couldn't say anything to the nurses or doctors. Baby is doing okay, but my blood pressure was high, and I was recommended to go on bed rest. I'm back home now. He's been complaining and making remarks about how hard this pregnancy has been the entire time. It is incredibly frustrating to hear him complain, but after yesterday, I don't want to push his buttons. So I'm keeping quiet about it all, the phone text included. When he left to the gym, I called my BOGYN's clinic and left a voicemail explaining the truth behind my fall today. I probably won't hear back until tomorrow at the earliest. Edit. He's home now. I'm worried he'll see my posts up on my phone using a different Reddit account. I will try to read and respond to comments when I can. Edit 2. Reading most of the comments here. First of all, thank you so much for your messages, kind words, and well wishes. I will address a few frequently asked questions. So I'm basically gonna summarize these next few paragraphs. OP says the way the husband found out about the visit was he saw her Google search history, and the search history was when to go to hospital after fall during pregnancy. The husband asked about it and was annoyed about it, downplayed it again, and OP pretended she wasn't going to, but the husband was unconvinced and insisted that they go together. And also he said that it would look bad if his pregnant wife went to urgent care alone without him. OP also explains why she can't leave, because she has nowhere to go. People have mentioned shelters, but there's a system there, and it is in high demand, so it'll be difficult to get a spot. And OP doesn't even know how to do so anyways. OP can't make a domestic hotline call because the husband's always home and she doesn't want him to hear. OP really can't tell acquaintances because these acquaintances are also friends of the husband, and OP doesn't know who to trust. OP also believes she can't really tell the police because there's no signs of like domestic violence, no bruises, no markings on her. OP, after reading some of the comments, had her eyes open and realized how abusive the behavior was, and OP mistaking that abusive behavior for protection and love. And OP also mentions the fact that a lot of her friendships has fizzled out and replaced with new friends. And a lot of the husband's family lives by, so OP doesn't even have her family besides her mother near her, and the mother lives in a nursing home. OP also mentions the fact that the husband has anger issues and that he has said disparaging things to her in the past. In anger, cursed her out, called her worthless, and usually after all this stuff happens, he's very loving and apologizes afterwards, and sometimes would even cry, saying he'll stop and he'll do better. But when the fertility issues started and IVF started happening, it all escalated and got worse. He started throwing things in anger sometimes, not at OP, but at walls, breaking things. Sometimes he would get in OP's face and yell. OP also talks about how she would delete Reddit when she wasn't using it so the husband would not see it, and she's still worried about the baby and her safety. And she also says, knowing what happened the other day, the push was just the tip of the iceberg, and it's the first time he escalated things and laid a hand on her, so she is worried what he's capable of doing. I am going to read this one reply, and this reply says, he went with you not because he was worried about you and your baby, but worried about what you would say. I hope you get out and get the help baby need. Please stay safe. And now it's time for my commentary, and that's the only thing I can really hope for you to stay safe. So OP, try to make some type of plan. See out of those friends who you can rely on. Maybe talk to your mom. Try to reach out to other family members. Maybe they can help you. See between those friends who you can trust. And OP, honestly, I wish the best for you and your baby. Best of luck to you guys. But now let's go on to the next post that also has an update and also from r/relationship advice. And this story is titled, My 29 male girlfriend, 26 female, had an affair for 6 months, and I gave her a second chance. How do I not feel like a stupid idiot now? Kind of an update to my post about a month ago. Found a love letter to my girlfriend of 9 years. And I tried to look for this post, but I couldn't find it. Well, maybe some of you will remember my last post about a month ago, where I found a love letter to my girlfriend and she confessed to an affair of 6 months. I deleted my other Reddit account, so I have to post on a new one. We tried to work it out, went to therapy, and she swapped her night shift to day shifts. It was pretty good, but I had some difficulties. I was thinking about her affair every time we touched, and when we were on dates. But you were all right. 6 hours ago at 4 a.m., I woke up and felt terrible. I made the decision to look through her phone and found a chat. They started texting and calling again after only 2 weeks. I feel like a stupid idiot. It's only 4 weeks since I found out about the affair and she managed to not text him for 2 weeks. I told her again to pack her things and leave immediately. I don't know what should I do now to finally find closure and how I could not hate myself for doing this to me again. Hopefully some comments can make me feel better. Before I give my commentary, let's see what the community has to say about this post. The first reply says, "Good for you for finally getting out of there nonetheless. Better late than never. Staying with a cheater, especially one who was exposed rather than confessed, is almost always a terrible idea. It's the same person who made the decision to cheat on you before, plus now they have less respect for you because you took a known cheater back." The next reply says, "Listen, you are not stupid. 9 years is a long time, and you weren't ready to let it go. I know it hurts right now, sweetheart, but in a year from now, you are going to be so happy that you found out only 4 weeks later and didn't go on believing everything was fine for another 9 years. The best thing you can do for yourself now is allow yourself to grieve the relationship. Be upset, punch a pillow, talk to friends and family. I would also recommend maybe going for a walk or doing some form of exercise every day to keep yourself grounded. But most of all, forgive yourself because this is not your fault at all. Wishing you the best of luck." And now it's time for my commentary, and OP, personally for me, I would not have given her another chance, but also I am not in your shoes. I have not dated this girl for 9 years who I thought was my partner, who I loved, and who broke my heart. I am not you, I am not in your situation, so it's easy for me to say what I would have done, but the important thing is, now that you decided to end things, there's many other people out there who will not cheat on you, who will not break your heart the way that she did. So OP, I say, go to the gym, look up new hobbies, or continue old hobbies you might have dropped, or expand the current hobbies you have. Lean on your friends, lean on your family, and honestly, brother, have fun. OP, wishing you the best of luck in the future. And now, let's check out the final post that also has an update. And this post is from the advice subreddit. And it is titled, "My wife might be cheating on me with a 17-year-old she coaches, but I don't know for sure. What should I do?" Alright, I never thought I'd be in this situation, but I'm completely at a loss here and need some advice. My wife, 33 female, has been acting really strange lately, and I'm starting to think she might be cheating on me with one of the kids she coaches. I feel sick even typing that. Some background, my wife is an accountant by day, and in the evening she volunteers as a soccer coach for a local youth team. She always loved soccer, and I thought it was great that she was so involved with the kids in the community, but recently she's been dropping weird comments that are really starting to concern me. It all started about 2 months ago. She casually mentioned one of the boys on her team. He's 17, and I won't say his name for obvious reasons. At first, it was harmless stuff like, he's really talented for his age, or he's a natural leader on the field. I didn't think much of it because, well, she's a coach, and it's her job to encourage the kids, right? But then the comments started to get weird. Like one night, out of nowhere, she said, "You know, his name has really pretty eyes. They're so striking." I remember thinking, that's a weird thing to say about a kid you're coaching. I kind of brushed it off at first, but then more things followed. Another time, she came home after practice and said, "He's so much more athletic than anyone else on the team. It's impressive how developed he is." Again, I tried to shake it off, but my gut started nagging at me. Why is she talking about him so much? Then there's the fact that she's been getting way more secretive. She's always open with her phone and emails, but lately, she's been turning her screen away from me when she texts or checks messages. I asked her about it and she just laughs it off, saying I was being paranoid. She's also been staying later and later after practices. At first, she told me it was just because they were prepping for some tournament, but now, even with the tournament over, she's still coming home late. When I asked, she gave some vague excuse like, the team needs extra help, or I have some paperwork to catch up on. Here's the thing that has me spiraling. Last week, I came home early from work. I expected to have the house to myself since she was supposed to be at practice, but when I walked in, I found her sitting on the couch, texting someone with a huge smile on her face. When she saw me, she quickly locked her phone and got super flustered. She said it was just one of the parents asking about game schedule, but it didn't feel right. I don't have any solid proof, but something just feels off. Why would she be talking about this kid's looks? Why is she suddenly so secretive? Why is she suddenly so secretive? I have never been able to shake the feeling that something more is going on. I don't want to accuse her of something so serious without any real evidence, but I also don't want to ignore my instinct. I love her, and I really don't want to believe she's doing something like this, especially with the kid she's supposed to be mentoring. So Reddit, what should I do? Am I reading too much into this? Is she cheating on me with this 17-year-old kid, or am I just being paranoid? How do I even begin to confront her about something like this? Any advice would be appreciated. I'm honestly feeling lost right now. Honestly, OP, really tough situation you're in. But before I really give my commentary, let's see what the community has to say first. The first reply says, ask to see her phone. Her answer will tell you everything you need to know. Her behavior has given you so many reasons to doubt her stories. The next reply says, honestly, I never thought I'd be giving this advice, but you need to look through her phone without her knowing and check her messages. If you genuinely believe there's a chance she's been intimate with a kid. And the final reply says, this is easy enough. Do your best private investigator impression and follow her after soccer practice. You will find everything you need to know. And now it's time for my commentary, and there's a couple of options you can do to find out the truth. But I just want to talk about the situation in general. God, like, it's all the signs that there is cheating. The staying out late, the hiding the phone, the vague answers, but even worse somehow, it is with a 17-year-old kid. That's the worst part in my opinion. Because honestly, disgusting. Absolutely disgusting if that is unfortunately the case. She's cheating on you and with a kid. Like, that sucks. But OP, I would say hire a private investigator if you have the resources for it, or do your own snooping, or see her after practice. Do some type of snooping. Find something. And if there's a smoking gun, don't put the gun in water. Shoot it. No, that's crazy. I can't be saying stuff like that. But if you find something suspicious, because this situation is already suspicious enough, you know what you have to do. But now let's check out this update to see how this story ends. Also, there's multiple updates in this post. Update 1. I took some of your advice and reached out to a lawyer. Well, sort of. An old friend from high school who's now a successful family lawyer happened to be visiting his family here in my hometown this week. While family law isn't exactly what I needed, I'd rather speak to someone I trust before hiring a lawyer and potentially escalating things out of control. I'm meeting him for coffee tomorrow and will update you further. I'm hoping he can give some solid legal advice without things getting too intense. I obviously don't want her to be arrested or anything dramatic like that, but I also don't know what to do next. Right now, I'm not even angry, just overwhelmed and in shock. It's hard to process that someone I've been so close to over the last 2 years might not be who I thought and could have been hiding something awful this whole time. Update 2. The last 5 days has been absolute hell. The title is a bit of a giveaway, but pretty much everyone who commented were right, and my own suspicions have been confirmed. After talking to my friend, the lawyer, we agreed I should confront her with my concerns, suggesting looking through her phone together, just to put some of my suspicions to rest. I realized how risky this was, but we really don't have a lot of choices considering there was no clear proof of anything weird that had been going on. He suggested that we meet somewhere quiet, but still in a public setting, in case she decided to freak out and do something rash. I decided to take her to our local park where I can sit her down on the bench well away from any crowds of people. When we sat down together, I told her how serious of a situation we could be in, and she must be completely honest with me, and that I want to be on her side, but the way she's been acting had led me to some serious suspicions. I explained to her that I don't want to break the trust between us, so had decided against looking through her phone, despite how tempted I was. When I told her the concerns, she immediately got defensive and started denying everything. She called me a paranoid asshole for even suggesting that she would have a relationship with the minor. She said the fact that I would even question something like this means there's probably something wrong with me and that I must be the one hiding something. Honestly, the way she reacted just confirmed to me that there was something that she's not been telling me this entire time, and that without her cooperation, the safest bet was probably just to leave. I suggested that we look through her phone together, just to provide me with closure, and even if there was nothing to hide, it would mean a lot to me that she would just humor me, and that it might even be fun to look through together and laugh at how ridiculous I was being. She screamed at me for trying to invade her privacy and that I had massively overstepped the line before storming away from me, back to the car and driving to her friend's house to stay the night. I don't know what she's talking about with her friend, but around 3 a.m. the next morning, I got a really long text from her giving me her view of the situation. The messages was as followed. The entire message was considerably long, so I summarized it for this post. My wife, I really don't think what I've been doing is wrong. It started with me helping this kid with some extra practices because he was struggling to get the hang of some of the drills we had been doing work on in that day's training session. These private sessions were becoming more regular, and after about 3 weeks of extra training sessions, he sent me a friend request on my Instagram. He wasn't the first of the team to send me a request, and I wouldn't usually accept them, but as I was giving this kid private coaching sessions, I thought it made more sense. He started to send me DMs, so I responded, because I'm not a total asshole. Okay, maybe the texts weren't just about soccer anymore. There's nothing wrong with being friends with the kid. You've always been super close to your younger brother, and I never called you out for being weird. The message then proceeded to say how much of an asshole I was being for calling her out and trapping her in a situation that would always leave her looking bad. She ended the message by telling me that she thinks she'll be able to look past this and forgive me for being a total insecure dickhead, and that if I ever question her like that again, she would file for divorce. I was in complete shock when I read this response, as I never seen this side of my wife. This is not the kind, loving, respectful, and even an open person whom I had married, and is driving me totally insane. I just don't know what to do. I understand that what she was telling me is not normal, and I can't believe how naive I have been for so long. But I still feel like there is more going on that she's not telling me. Her long message didn't actually explain why she had been messaging this kid so much and for so long, and why would she have been spending literal hours every evening locked in our bedroom or on our sofa just on her phone. I don't know, maybe I am being paranoid. Maybe this is more normal than I'm making it out being, although this seems unlikely. Should I still try to look through her phone anyways, despite what she told me? When we had met the previous day, my friend mentioned that this is out of his field, but I shouldn't contact the police until I was more sure of anything, because if we did end up getting a divorce and she was technically innocent, calling the police on your wife for providing extra help to a kid she coaches wouldn't look very good for me in court. Again, I apologize to everyone for the late update. I know this post is kind of all over the place, but I hope you have been able to follow. And basically, there's a little update here that OP will update as the situation develops. You know what? Let's see what the community has to say about this update. The first reply says, say nothing, reach out to the kid's parents and have them get his phone. If there's shadiness going on, they'll be calling the police. Then your hands are clean of it. If it happens and there's enough to call the police, get a lawyer. The next reply says, she's gaslighting you. Don't believe her lies. And somebody replies underneath that, I really don't like jumping to conclusions like this, but it really does seem that way. If there was nothing untoward going on, she would have just shown OP the message and said, see, F you for thinking I was a creep. And the final comment says, I remember your post from before, and I have to say, your wife knows she's in the wrong. If she had nothing to hide, she would be showing you the message to provide her innocence. Putting myself in her shoes, she knows she's caught, but has enough deniability to make it seem like you're the one with the issue. If she were smart, she'd probably be distancing and or blocking the kid. So I would not expect the relationship to continue. However, she's already broken your trust. The pinnacle of your relationship. You have a few options. Option 1, forgive your wife and learn to re-trust her. I couldn't do this myself, probably self-destructive. Option 2, start the divorce proceedings. Hire a real lawyer. Self-protective, my choice. Option 3, protect the kid. We probably don't know how far this has gone, but he's a kid. Find his parents and tell them you're not sure what's going on between the two of them, but you fear it may be inappropriate, high risk, and probably vindicative, but also looking out for this kid your wife groomed. And now it's time for my commentary, and it's the fact she got pissed at you that adds a lot to it. Now, okay, I would get if she was mad, but showed you the text anyways and was still mad at you because you accused her of something like this. Because personally, yeah, I would be upset if somebody accused me of dating a minor, of at least being intimate with a minor, something with a minor. I would be upset, but I would do anything in my power to confirm that I am not doing what you're suggesting I'm doing. I am innocent, nothing is happening. But it's the fact she got mad at you and didn't show you her phone. She tried to gaslight you, so anything you even had a doubt of, it's just grown even more because of that response. She could have easily shown you the phone just to prove you're wrong, nothing is happening. So, OP, you can't forgive her. You can't forgive something like this, even if there's somehow nothing going on. The fact the way she's acting towards you is not cool, and I'm going to be real, I doubt that there's nothing happening. She's hiding something. That's the reason why she's so protective over her phone. So, OP, the trust is gone within your relationship. I believe it's time to end this relationship. So, OP, I wish the best of luck to you in your future. But hey, that was the end of this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Let me know in the comment section down below what did you think of today's stories. But for now, I've been your king, Willis Mikky, and your king is signing off.